Welcome back, Goddess of Genesis fam. I'm here with a two-part video. This video is going to be first about what's coming up in the schedule for Goddess of Genesis, things you can plan for. And then the second half of this video is going to be, it's now my 60th consecutive day of logging in. So I'm going to do a 2-month account progress update so you can see how far I've gotten in this game after playing it for 2 months. But the first thing I want to note is currently I have a 4-star Freya, and if I had 2 more copies of her, she would be 5 stars. And you really want your Freya to be 5 stars because at that point she gets the ability to steal 20% of strength and int from an enemy hero and add it to her own. So that's a very significant power boost for Freya. You really want her to be 5 stars. And even though I have the resources to potentially pull 2 more copies of her, I'm choosing not to. And the reason why is I want to highlight some of the things that are coming up in future banners. I will link to the upcoming banner schedule, which I have here. I'll link to it in the caption of this video so you can take a look. So right now, we're on the top line here, where we just got the Freya banner last week on 1/6. And if you look to the right here, there's a couple things that our update didn't get that were in the SEA server update at the same week. They got an event where you could unlock an Isabella skin, and they also got a new feature called Gear Fusion. And if you're wondering what Gear Fusion is, I have the patch notes from that update here. It's kind of hard to read, sorry about the landscape. But notice they say this Gear Fusion feature unlocks after the update maintenance. So I'm not sure if it was delivered at the same time as they got their update or a couple days later or a week later, but we didn't get this feature. And if you look, Gear Fusion allows you to consume a gear with a prefix, and then you can transfer those stats to another equipment. And it looks like you can also transfer the prefix if you read the enchant. If you have special crystals, you can transfer the prefix from one type of gear to another type of gear in the same slot. And you can also exchange prefixes. So like if you have brutal on something and you want to transfer that brutal prefix to another, you can do that. So Gear Fusion is a really, something I was really looking forward to, and we didn't get it. And I'm hoping that we get that Gear Fusion update this coming week that's coming up. And hopefully we also get the Isabella skin. Now, based off of what Zilong has done with Langrisser, which I've been playing for 2 months, or 2 years, sorry, it is possible that we may not get the Isabella skin. Like there's at least 3 skins on Langrisser that were released on the Chinese server that never made their way over to the global server. I don't know if they just forgot about it or they overlooked it, but you know, there was like small amounts of content that didn't make it over to the other server, and I'm hoping we don't lose access to that Isabella skin, though I'm fairly certain we will get Gear Fusion at some point, hopefully this coming week. If you look at this coming week, we have like a Michael Lilith banner, which is not that exciting. And then we should also get a Freya Colorful Crystal Ball. So that's going to be where you can spend 4,000 crystals and you can get a skin for Freya. And there's always going to be a ton of new players who spend 4,000 crystals to get the skin for Freya. And then they go, "Where's my Freya?" And they don't realize that you didn't unlock the character, you unlocked the costume for Freya. So look forward to those posts of disappointment coming next week. Now, the week after that, we're going to have a Hestia banner. Hestia is a new character who I'm not going to pull for. And we will also get a Lilith bounty. So if you're one of those players who buys the bounty, which will unlock like 60 shards of that hero, you can unlock 60 more shards of Lilith. Or if you don't have Lilith, you can get a copy of Lilith if you spend the $10 or $15 to unlock the bounty and do the quests. Now we should also, at the same time, get an event where we get 60 Chang'e shards next week. So I'm really looking forward to that because my Chang'e is like maybe 100 shards away from being 6 stars, and that's kind of a big deal for Chang'e because then she gets a free lantern that drops at the start of combat, and that kind of puts her over the top. So I'm really looking forward to farming those Chang'e shards so I can get very close to my 6-star Chang'e. Now, the week after Hestia, we'll have another random banner, Chang'e Cleopatra, which is not that big a deal. We may also get a Merlin colorful crystal ball, but the problem is we already got this Merlin skin before. So there was a previous Merlin skin that SEA got that I don't think looks as good. So I'm wondering if maybe they will give us the other Merlin skin, since at this point this is the skin that we already have, if that makes any sense. And there's also going to be a new gear that comes out that week, Tears of the Nile. And I'm sorry, I overlooked this coming week. We should also get the new gear Molnir, which I believe is an accessory that's pretty good. I actually have 4 trinket, random trinket like boxes that I can open, and I'm hoping to get Molnir. I've been saving for that. And then after 2 weeks after Hestia is the Gaia banner. And Gaia is the character who I'm going to be saving for next. I'm planning to pull 1 copy of her, although she is best at 6 or 7 stars. She's kind of a whale character, and she can be really strong if you get her to that point. But I'm not going to be able to pull that many copies of her because I'm not a whale. And also that week, we should be getting Endless Corridor, hopefully. Endless Corridor is not mentioned in the patch notes for the SEA server, but it is a really important game mode that, from what I understand, it's kind of endgame content. And in a way, this game really needs more things to do when you're at the end game. And what it sounds like is if you can progress very far in Endless Corridor, it will unlock significant stat boosts for all your characters. So when this game mode arrives, it's a pretty big deal. And you really want to be able, or you want to be prepared to have characters that can perform well in Endless Corridor. That includes characters like Hades, the twins, Cleopatra. Those are all characters that I've heard are very strong for Endless Corridor. And if you go 2 weeks or 4 weeks after Gaia, no, 2 weeks, sorry, it's going to be Sariel and Sarah, who are the Shadow twins. And from what I understand, they're going to be very strong in Endless Corridor. And I believe they have an ability where they come into battle stealth, and I think at a certain point they can give your whole party stealth so that they can't be targeted unless there's an opposing ranger on the other side. So the twins, when built properly, can be very oppressive. And I'm actually saving all my summons. I have, what is it, like 150 summons? I'm saving them so I can hope to get 5 stars of Sariel and Sarah when they come out, as well as 1 copy of Gaia. So I'm hoarding all my tickets right now for the twins who are coming in about 6 weeks. So I think I said I had 150 summons, but I actually have closer to 250 Destiny Tarot that I'm saving for the twins. Now let's get to the account progress update portion of this video. So as you can see in the quest, I'm at 60 consecutive logins for this game. So I've been playing it for exactly 2 months. And at this point, I've reached what I consider the end game. My character level or team level is 70. So I'm maxed out in terms of hero level. When it comes to rank, I'm 35 on the server. And in PvP in the AI arena, I'm 29, so I'm kind of cracking that top 30 mark after 2 months of playing. Let's see, what can so in adventure mode, I mentioned before that, I didn't try to go back and perfect every single mission. I recommended skipping it and spending as little time as possible in adventure mode. Well, I went back and I completed all those missions, and it's really easy. If you have even a 4-star Freya, she just melts faces, and you can complete all these missions like in one move pretty much. You just wipe out entire waves of enemies. So fully cleared adventure mode. It only goes up to Act 30. Now, even though it is cleared, I'm actually spending a lot of time in adventure mode, or spending a lot of stamina in it. And the reason why is, if you go to Awakenings, after you get the 10th Awakening, you get these Pact effects or evolves, where you have to farm a bunch of keys, which require sweeping elite late 20s adventure mode, and you do this about 3 times per level per day, and you need to acquire like 25 keys of all these different types so you can unlock these stat upgrades. Of here, there's like 5% strength, 10% accuracy, 10% PvP damage and reduction. So that's what I'm working on. Part of this late game grind is unlocking those 3 Pact effects for your character after you hit level 10 Awakening. And I've already done it fully for Freya. Here, she has all those upgrades, and now I'm working on Artemis. And the reason I'm doing that is the way my team is built. Freya has the fastest speed, Artemis has the second fastest speed, and then Lilith has the third fastest speed. And usually those 3 characters will take a turn before my opponent even takes a turn. So I figure if I can boost all their stats, if those 3 all take their turn first, the match is pretty much over. So even though I have Joan built and Chang'e, who are technically would be the other 5 members of my main party, sometimes I run Merlin instead of Chang'e because I realize that healing isn't important if you can just kill them all in the first 3 turns. So I'm a little iffy on whether I'm going to use Merlin or Chang'e. It kind of depends how long I think the fight is going to go. But I'm mainly focusing on building up those 3 characters because they're the fastest on my team, and they're also the deadliest. Now, in terms of my characters, if you look at my main party, Joan is at 4 stars, Freya's at 4 stars, Artemis is at 4 stars, Lilith 4 stars, Merlin is actually at 6, and Chang'e is at 5, but assuming we get that Chang'e event with 60 shards, she'll be 40 shards away from being level 6 or 6 stars. So within 3 weeks, I'm hoping to have a 6-star Chang'e, and that might impact my decision to bring her into the main party, because then she'll get that lantern at the start of combat. So then even if I don't go first for some reason, that lantern might save my party enough that I can get a turn in PvP. We'll see how that goes. But I'm slowly working on leveling those 5 characters so that they hit 5 or 6 stars accordingly. Now, in terms of equipment, I'm starting to bring all my gear up to level 70, and when you get you bless your gear to level 70, you also have to do these blessings that cost 2 of these hammers of creation every time and a good chunk of gold. And then you get these spots where you can put in different emblems, and each emblem has different stats associated with it. So each of your gear can unlock 6 potential stat slots once you pay all those prices on the resources. And that's what these purple stars mean at the bottom of each of the gear. So right now I'm working on the trinket slot for Freya, and then I'll probably do the weapon slot, and then I'm going to add the prefix once that gear fusion comes out. So I'm slowly going to make these items endgame as I unlock all the slots and start putting in the emblems that also have to go up. Like this is a level 4 emblem. These are level 3, and you can combine 3 emblems to raise their rank. So if I get 3 of these level 3 emblems, I can make it level 4. So that's kind of endgame. You're working on unlocking all the slots in your equipment, bringing it to 70 first, and then slotting in level 4 emblems. That's going to be what you're doing endgame, as well as you have the gems. And right now I have gems in place that are all level 20. Most of them have the astrology bonus that I want. So for Freya, Artemis, and Lilith, they're all running speed gems. So that's why their sets may be a little messed up. If you look at like Freya's, for example, ideally I'd probably like to have 3 Sagittarius and either 2 Leo or 2 Capricorn. So, you know, but she's at the mercy of what speed gems I get. So that's why her sets are a little messed up. But speed is very important because speed kills in PvP. Let's see. In the guild abilities store, I have maxed most of these stats. I'm currently working on physical evasion or block. I'm not sure exactly which one I'm going to level up, but I'm leveling up these two. And then there's magic evasion. And the way you level up this store, other than awakening a ton of characters, is buying the Eyes of Horus in the guild store. And one thing I want to note is, even though I'm close to maxing out this store, once everything is maxed and brought to 10 out of 10 in all 8 stats, I'm going to continue buying Eye of Horus, because there's going to be an update later where they increase the amount of the guild abilities that are available to you. So I'm going to be stockpiling those Eyes of Horus so that when that upgrade comes to this guild ability store, I'm going to be able to boost the speed to whatever, 20 out of 20, so that you get an instant advantage over others in PvP. Let's see. In terms of the mercenaries, I never really went in here, but I did max out. I'm at SSSS level with the mercenary, so that's completely done. For the manual, there's only a few characters I'm missing. I'm missing Tomato, who I kind of want her for the Blue Elemental Tower, and Mulan, who's pretty good at, is it United Battle? Whatever that mode is that's on Wednesday, that instantly boosts your character to 6 stars. Mulan shines there because she's great at killing summons like Chang'e's Lantern that comes into combat. So Mulan is the one character I have regrets on not summoning earlier. In terms of perks, my Guardian tree is pretty much all done. I need 2 upgrades here that would make Joan a little stronger. And then there's these 3 perks that I'm not really using. I could probably level this one for Dracula because he uses it, but I don't use Dracula very often, so I'm almost done maxing out the Guardian tree. I'm not really leveling it. Instead, I'm focusing on the Assassin tree, where I need to level defense percentage, and then flat defense percentage and flat HP. And then there's a couple other perks that could be improved, but I'm not really using them. On the mage side, it's kind of similar situation. My mage tree is pretty much done. The only upgrade left is this one, where your basic attack can jump around to hit an additional enemy, but it's very rare that I attack with a basic attack with someone like Merlin, so I'm not in a super hurry to upgrade it. Pages 1 and 2 of this tree are maxed out. I'm focusing right now on the Ranger tree in Grand Archives 2. And here, my Artemis is only missing, again, % defense. And over here on page 2, she's missing flat % defense and, flat HP. Again, all the other perks are maxed out. And then there's some other perks that I'm not using that could be improved, but I'm not in a super hurry. My Priest tree needs some work. As you can see here, the 3rd page isn't really filled out, but my Chang'e already heals everyone to full pretty much, so this isn't a super big priority. I did start upgrading the Warrior tree in anticipation of either pulling Mulan by accident or getting Gaia eventually, which will be, I believe, in 3 weeks. So by the time I pull for Gaia, I should have this tree, built into page 3, I'm assuming. Now, in terms of endgame content, I've already finished Astral Shore, level 70, cleared it. Grand Archives 1 and 2, cleared to level 75. So the main content that have yet to beat. Oh, by the way, for Dream Chronicle, this is like the timeless trial of Goddess of Genesis. I've cleared the SS level, so I've fully completed Dream Chronicle. I do need to do these secret missions, where if you deploy a certain team on this level, you can get additional bonuses, one-time bonuses. The problem is it needs 5 fire heroes, and I don't have Mulan, so that's what's holding me back there. But in terms of PvE content, I do clear Dream Chronicle every week, and you do get an SSR trinket from doing so. So if you're not already doing it, you should be clearing at least through S+ level for the free trinket every week. Now, the main PvE content that I'm working on is Elemental Tower, where you have to choose a team of each of the elements, so like fire, water, earth, shadow, and light. Right now I'm in the Shadow Tower, and they give you about 3 days in each tower. So a cycle of Elemental Tower takes about 15 days, or no, 12 days. Because you're allowed to go into 4 different towers, and then it resets. And you spend 3 days in each tower. Right now, I'm working on the Shadow Tower, and as you can see, I've cleared 9 floors. I'm on the 10th floor. And then there's 5 more levels that I can clear in Elemental Tower. But once you get to level 10, it becomes like a stat check where the enemies just like wipe your whole party unless you're strong enough. And to be strong enough to last there, I assume I'm either going to need Freya at 5 stars, or I'm going to need all my equipment to be like, for example, level 70, and probably unlock a ton of slots here with emblems that give me additional boosts, like, you know, increased defense, increased HP, increased evasion, and then I can probably survive level 10 of the Elemental Tower. So in terms of endgame, what does the game look like, right? I think your endgame is going to be farming things like your gems, getting level 20 gems of the right set and the right stats that you want. You're also going to be bringing all your gear to level 70, and then unlocking all the slots and putting in the level 4 emblems, and then clearing Elemental Tower. I think that's what's going to be your end game for this game, is being able to clear to the 15th floor of Elemental Tower in all 5 elements. So that means you need 4 or 5 teams that are fully built in all the different elements: shadow, fire, water, light. So you can't just have your main party of 5. You need to have at least 20 characters that are fully built to clear the Elemental Tower every time it comes up. Another bit of PvE content that's going to be coming for the end game is that endless corridor that I mentioned earlier. That should be coming in about 3 weeks. So that's something else you have to look forward to for the end game. One last note before I wrap up this video is, previously I recommended purchasing stamina upgrades all the way every day until you're up to level 70. Now that I'm up to level 70, I've actually decided to curtail my stamina purchases. I am still purchasing stamina refills, but I'm stopping at this point because the final stamina upgrade costs 150 starstones, and prior to this you only spend 160. You saw me just spend 60 and 100, so I'm basically cutting my stamina refresh spending every day by about 50% because I'm only spending 160. You do get the free one, and you get one for spending 40, but if you look in your quests, where is it? You get back a certain, how can I explain this? When you complete the quests here, to buy the stamina refreshes, you are refunded the 40 that you spent for the second upgrade. So it's basically free, and it helps you complete all the daily quests so you can get your heroic grail. So I hope you're doing that at the bare minimum. So since the first 2 stamina refreshes are free, I am still spending 160 every day, but instead of spending 310, I'm only spending 160. And the reason I'm doing that is because, for example, these awakening keys that you have to purchase, you have to sweep a lot of adventure modes, so that requires a lot of stamina. So once I've completed unlocking all these Pact effects for my main team, I may actually not purchase any stamina refreshes beyond the free ones, the first 2 every day. So I'm starting to hoard my starstones so that I'll have more available when it comes to summoning, so then I can get the twins up to like 5 stars and start summoning multiple copies of new heroes when they come out. So that's my update. If you learned anything or found it valuable, please consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss out on future Goddess of Genesis content. Okay, good luck. Have fun, everybody.